Hi everyone. Today we're going to be going over some of the problems from the practice test you guys took.
Remember to email us if you have any additional questions you want to go over in the upcoming videos. Before we start, if you haven't already, please pause your video and get your practice test done so you can correct your mistakes.
Without further ado, let's begin. We're starting with question 59.
Angle M and angle R are supplementary. The measure of angle R is 5 times the measure of angle M. What is the measure of angle R in degrees?
Let's break this question down. We have two angles and the problem says that they are supplementary. What does that mean? Supplementary angles are degrees that add up to 180. The trick that I use to remember complementary and supplementary is that when you write the C, it can be made into a 9 for 90 degrees, and the S in supplementary can be made into an 8 for 80 degrees.
Since angles M and R are supplementary, their degree numbers can add up to 180. We can set it up like this. M plus R equals 180. It also says that the measure of angle R is 5 times that of angle M. We can use this in the second equation, 5M equals R.
We can substitute this value for r into our original equation, so that we only have to work with one variable. We get m plus 5m equals 180.
We know that 5M plus M is equal to 6M, of course. But now let's try to get M on its own. So we can divide both sides by 6 to isolate the variable M. 180 divided by 6 is equal to 30. Therefore, angle M is 30 degrees.
Let's look back at what the question is asking. We're trying to find r, so let's substitute 30, the value of m, back into the equation for r. We get r equals 5 times 30, which is 150. Our answer is that the angle r is 150 degrees.
Great. Great job, everyone. Now let's move on to question 60. So, a juice mixture contains a gallon of apple juice and 3/40 gallon of cranberry juice. How many gallons of apple juice per gallon of cranberry juice does this mixture contain? And we have to express our answer as a decimal.
To solve this question, we can set up our proportion. We can set up the gallons of apple juice to gallons of cranberry juice to the amount of apple juice for each gallon of cranberry juice. On one side of the proportion, we have 3 over 16 apple juice over 3 over 40 cranberry juice. When you divide a fraction by another fraction, we can multiply the first fraction by the second fraction's reciprocal. This gives us 3 over 16 times 40 over 3, which gives us 40 over 16.
When we simplify 40 out of 16, we get 5 over 2, which is 2.5 in decimal terms. For every gallon of cranberry juice, the juice mixture has 2.5 gallons of apple juice.
Great job, everyone. Let's move on to question 65. In the figure above, PQRS is a square. Point S is the center of the circle, and points P and R are on the circle. If the area of the square is 4 square centimeters, what is the area in square centimeters of the shaded quarter of the circle? This one's pretty tricky because it takes a couple of steps to get the answer, but we'll go over everything you need to know about this problem.
We are looking for the area of the quarter of the circle. That's the part that's shaded. To find the area of the quarter of the circle, we can take the area of circle equation and divide that by 4.
To find the area of the circle, we use the formula pi r squared, but we need the radius to use this formula. The question doesn't give us the radius, right?
Actually, we do have the radius. It's just the side of the square.
Oh, wow. All right, they gave us the area of the square. It's 4. That means that the side of the square is 2. That's also the radius of the circle.
Now we can just plug in 2 for the radius in the formula pi r squared, and we get pi r squared divided by 4, which is 4 pi divided by 4, or just pi, and that's answer choice B. All right, so the last question we're going to be going over is question 70. When asked a certain question in a poll, 72% of the people of the poll answered yes. If 56 people did not answer yes to that question, what is the total number of people who were polled? For this question, it is extremely important that we write out our work as percentage questions like this because it requires some complex calculations.
The first thing we want to do is set up an equation. So let's set the variable for the total number of people who are polled as x.
Then we know that a percent is also a term for a fraction of 100. So in this case, we would get the fraction 72 over 100, which represents the percent of people that answered yes. However, we are given the number for the people who did not answer yes, which is 56.
Therefore, we have to find the percent of people who did not say yes by subtracting 72 over 100 from 1, or 100% in this case. We get 28 over 100, and can now set up our equation. 28 over 100 is equal to 56 over x. Now that we have a proportion, we can solve for x. First, to get x by itself, we can first multiply both sides by x, and then divide both sides by 28 over 100, and we have our new equation. X equals 100 over 28 times 56.
If we remember our cross-multiplying rules, then we can simplify 28 to 1 and 56 to 2 because 28 is the denominator of 56. And now that we have a common denominator between the two, we just multiply 100 by 2 and we get 200 equals x. We know the problem was tricky, so let us know if you have any questions about the problem, and please email us or you can write something in the comment section.
That's all for this week. If you haven't already, try to complete this practice test, and we'll see you next week with some more review of this test. See ya.